Hey everyone, just quick announcement before I share today's episode with Dr. Tyler Dalton. Dr. Tyler is doing some amazing work, and I'm excited for him to get to share his story. But just want to take a minute to share the release of my first children's book of my Healthy Children's Book series called Maddox's Trip to the Chiropractor. It's a cute book with bright pictures that follows a toddler on her trip to the chiropractor. It shows her excitement and how she knows that it impacts her health in a positive way. And each purchase of the book will be supporting a project that I started called the Unlock Wellness Project. For each purchase of the book, we will be donating a wellness bag to a child in need. These wellness bags will include non-toxic, chemical-free essentials such as soap, shampoo, toothpaste, a toothbrush, items that a lot of the time children in tough situations don't have access to. We're also going to be shipping wellness bags to flood victims in Houston, Texas, and reaching out to victims of Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria as well. You can learn more about the book and the Unlock Wellness Project by going to drkaseyjohnson.com. That's DRKASEY Johnson.com. Click on the Shop tab, then click the Children's Book option. You'll be able to read a short description and even watch a short video with more information. You can also purchase the book directly on Amazon.com by searching Maddox's Trip to the Chiropractor. But I hope you guys loved the book. Be sure to check out my website to learn more, and thank you so much for the support. Now it's time for today's episode. I hope you love my conversation with Dr. Tyler Dalton. Welcome to the Unlock Wellness Podcast. I'm Dr. Casey and excited for today's guest. I'm here with Dr. Tyler Dalton. And Dr. Tyler is a functional medicine pharmacist working to improve the health of his patients through nutrition so they can remove unnecessary medications from their daily routine. And I love the work that he's doing, and I'm excited for him to get to share his own personal wellness story and just everything that he's been working on. So, Dr. Tyler, thank you so much for taking time to come on. I'm excited to have you.
Thanks, Casey. It's an honor to be on the podcast and an honor to finally get to speak with you.
Yeah, and just by the way, congrats on the engagement. Tyler just got engaged not too long ago, so congrats on that.
That's awesome.
It.
It's super exciting. We're very excited.
Awesome. Yeah, Tyler, so let's just jump into your backstory, kind of walk us through your own personal wellness journey and just what led you to where you are right now.
Sure. So I'm a community pharmacist by trade. I graduated from pharmacy school in May of 2016, and ever since then, I've been hyper-focused on nutrition and wellness, and because before that time, I've always been interested in nutrition and wellness. It's something I've studied. It's something I've spent time learning about. However, I always considered myself as a non-functioning practitioner, so I always knew the information, always knew what I was eating was not, the most healthy thing, but I never practiced what I was actually preaching. And by the time I graduated pharmacy school, I was over 200 pounds. I was eating horrible diet, fast food often, as many, students and practitioners often do. You're very busy and caught up in life. So my health just really took a dive. I was on several medications for a couple of different conditions. I felt awful all the time. Graduating, I had brain fog. I felt like I was just always kind of in a cloud of uncertainty and clarity. My health was at an all-time low. And so really at that point,
did you feel like, I'm sorry, did you feel like, you were taking a bunch of medications at that time? I mean, that's the atmosphere that you're around, being in pharmacy school. So it's just like, to you, that seemed just pretty routine, right? I mean, it was covering a symptom, but like, it's what you're around all day. So it seems kind of normal. So you didn't really think twice about it?
Well, so yes and no. So in a lot of regards, the traditional form of medicine really puts a Band-Aid on the problem. So you really, you take something for heartburn or you take something for high blood pressure. You don't really address the root cause of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I was doing was simply just putting a Band-Aid on it, but I wasn't really taking the time and focusing on myself because I knew that the problems I was having could definitely be reversed or prevented if I changed my diet. I just wasn't dedicated at the time to do it. So, I kind of knew what I was doing was dumb and wrong. I just kept kind of living in that lifestyle.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, so you started, like you were saying, you were, over 200 pounds at that time. You knew what you were doing wasn't the right thing for you. So where did it go from that point?
Yeah. So I just kind of hit rock bottom and I knew I wanted to change. And I started looking at natural remedies and different ways to kind of heal myself naturally. I've always been a proponent and knew the benefits of whole food plant-based diets. And I had all the cookbooks and I was up to date on the information. I just didn't practice it. So I, determined and set myself to living a healthy lifestyle. I started eating unbelievably healthy diet. I mean, whole food, plant-based, all out. And within a few weeks, 2 weeks really, I started losing about 20 pounds. It just kind of dropped off. It was unbelievable. My medications, I stopped taking them and I started feeling fantastic. And, I was like, if I went from where I was, in that short of time, I just wanted to share that with so many people. It was just an unbelievable feeling that I could get off these medications and I could feel better. And I was like, there's just no way to live. And so, I knew that kind of lifestyle was definitely something I wanted to promote, just to help patients and to help just friends and family. It's fantastic.
Right. And what were some major maybe influences for you for, whole food plant-based? Because a lot of people, that's not their first go-to. I think it's becoming more mainstream kind of now, but was there a book you read or a documentary or just somebody you were following on social media? What kind of triggered that for you that you thought this was going to be the best route for you to go?
Sure. Since I've been interested in nutrition for a while, I've really looked at all different types of diets out there. And I really wanted to find the one that was the most evidence-based supported for healthiest lifestyle. And then also just for longevity. Because my goal was to live to 130 years and I got to find the best way to get there. And, whole food plant-based diet through the information that Dr. Greger puts out with nutritionfacts.org is fantastic. Dr. Garth Davis is another phenomenal influencer of mine. Got a great book out there called Proteinaholic. Really, really good and really transforming kind of the way I thought about traditional, foods and meats, and really just, the idea is people are always asking where do you get your protein from? Right. And you really need to flip the equation. It's where do you get your nutrients from? Don't focus on protein, focus on eating a variety of a broad-based diet, and then everything else will fall into place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and I know all of those amazing doctors are, always saying too, it's you don't see anybody with protein deficiency in our country. You're not seeing people with rickets. You can go ask every single doctor in your town, and I guarantee none of them have seen rickets probably ever. I mean, and the thing, it's just, you don't see it, but what you do see is fiber deficiency. Almost everybody's fiber deficient. Tyler, nobody was asking you where you got your protein from when you're eating McDonald's at 2 a.m. probably. So
exactly.
Yeah. So you were saying, just nutrient deficient, fiber deficient, and protein's really not the main issue. And I understand the question because, we were both there at one point and had the same question, but but that's definitely not the main issue that really needs to be addressed.
Totally. Yeah. And fiber is really one of those things too that people don't think about. And it's something they think they might need to take a supplement if they have to go to the bathroom. Or,
the fiber. What's that fiber called? You know what I'm talking about.
Metamucil.
Metamucil, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get from natural sources.
Exactly right. And if you focus on, I think the guidelines recommend 15 to 20 grams of fiber a day, which is so low. Yeah. If you really try to I try to push people to 40 to 60 grams a day. And if you shoot for that, you've got to work to get that into your diet. So you really have to eat a good amount of plants and different nutrients to hit that threshold. But really you have, calorie deficient foods and you're getting a ton of food for a great bang for your buck.
Right. And whenever you start incorporating foods like a morning smoothie or something like that, you can get a lot of fruits and vegetables in at one time. Whereas if you had all of that laid out on a plate, you probably wouldn't be able to eat, fruits and vegetables. It would be a lot. Where you can make a smoothie taste amazing, drink it in a few minutes, and you're good to go. So there's definitely easy ways to do that. And when you do it the right way and you're implementing the right amount of fiber, you're not going to be hungry. And I think that's another topic too, Dr. Tyler. It's people don't want to feel deficient, or they think they're just going to have to snack on iceberg lettuce all day. But it's just there's ways to, when you do it the right way. I promise you will not be hungry, and you're going to have more energy and just your overall just health and energy. Everything's going to be better.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, for me, I ate dramatically more food because you have to, because these foods don't have as many calories.
Right.
You have to eat more to get full. you eat throughout the day. I never focus on calories. Like it's always, I wake up, I eat as much as I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack all throughout the day. I was able to lose a great amount of weight based on that, but I was eating just nutritious food. So, I really didn't focus on calories because that's, at the end of the day, that's not the most important thing. It's really focusing on the nutrition, the fiber, and those micronutrients, not the actual macros that people always seem to worry about.
Right. No, I totally agree. And I know that with you've taken you've been super interested on the functional medicine side of it. That you've gotten certified in that. How has that impacted just everything that you do as a whole? Because when did you actually take that portion of the class?
So actually, the certification is an ongoing process, and it takes about 2 years to get the certification. So it's still kind of ongoing, but it's something that I'm working towards. And there's still things that you can just implement in the functional medicine. And for those that don't know, functional medicine is basically you're working to resolve the root issue of the problem, whereas traditional medicine really focuses on putting a specific drug or treatment for a certain thing. So really, let's focus on the patient as a whole. There's so many things that go into overall health, not just one specific thing. So functional medicine really focuses on the patient as a whole, addressing those influences, the epigenetics of the patient, and then really narrowing down from there. And so when I work with patients, I really just help to address them, find out really kind of their environmental factors, the foods that they're eating, which is really the most important thing, and adjusting that, and then also making sure their mindset is right. So if patients aren't, willing and ready to change, like myself, it's not going to happen. So you really have to make sure that they have the proper support team, and they also have the right motivation. And there's a couple tools you can use to help that along, but it's not right for everyone at that specific time.
Right, because like you were saying, if they're not there yet, it's hard to. I mean, you can't make somebody do something, but if they have that big enough why, whether it's for their kids or for their grandkids, or you know what I mean. So if that why is big enough, they can really take that next step and go all out. And I just think it's awesome what you're doing, Dr. Tyler, because it's most pharmacists don't take that that view on health. Maybe it's growing. I don't know. I'm not in that field, but have you noticed that it's starting to grow among like your colleagues, and like what do they think of the way you are approaching it? Like if you had any like comments or influence other pharmacists to kind of take that route as well?
Yeah, I think I get a lot of attention from my colleagues and then from friends on social media, or I guess colleagues on social media. There are several that are super interested in it. They just don't know how to approach it. And then also other pharmacists are confused at my approach. It's like, you studied to treat people with medicine, but I'm like, I'm also studying to help get people off of those medicines safely and live a happier and healthier life overall. Because we all know at the end of the day, the bodies are amazing, designed, pieces of work, and the foods that we're eating can negatively affect us, but they can also have a huge and dramatic impact on improving our overall health. And I'm a perfect example of that. I've got plenty of patients who can attest to, being able to live a happier and healthier life. And, we always were taught in pharmacy school, first line therapy is diet and exercise. That'd be one sentence. And then the rest, you go on into medications. And we never really focused on the diet and exercise. That's such a broad term. There's so much information out there. And that's just such a huge thing that we fail to focus on in pharmacy school, and just really in healthcare to begin with, because it's not designed. Docs don't have that much time to focus on nutrition. They have 10 minutes tops to really work with a patient. And they're just kind of checking up to see how things are going. So it's, not even at the traditional doctor's fault. It's just the system is not designed at this current time, for overall health.
Right. And as far as like with your education in pharmacy school, I've asked the last few people that have either been physicians or just around that field, but like for you personally, what was your your classes that did, like, how many hours did you have in nutrition, or were you required to have it at all, or was it an elective? Because I'm always curious to hear it, because it's either none at all, or maybe yes, but it was an elective. So how was that for you?
0 hours, Dr. Casey.
Yeah.
There was no nutrition education in pharmacy school, which is just unbelievable.
It is. It is. Like that blows my mind. I mean, you're dealing with the body in a person, and
Right.
yeah, so that's even more so amazing for what you're doing because you're taking the time to actually educate yourself and put the patient first. And with that being said, like I understand that there's a time and place for medicine. Like I'm glad that there is a field that studies that extensively, but for the most part, it's lifestyle calls. So like if there's an emergency, if somebody's blood pressure shoots up like to dangerous high amounts, like let's lower it, but then let's figure out what the root cause of that is and fix it so you don't have to take this medication for the rest of your life. When even on the blood pressure medication fine print, like you're not even supposed to take that past a few weeks. Like there's so many things that hasn't been researched enough to know the long-term effects on someone's body. And we kind of need to take a step back and respect the body a little bit more because we don't know the kind of effects we're going to see in 10, 20 years from these medications. And I'm sure that's something that you've really looked into as well and understand.
Right. Yeah. And sadly, as I mentioned earlier, as people get older, they continue to take more medications because
Right.
one, their lifestyle continues to follow the same path. They eat the standard American diet full of processed foods, high fat foods, high salt foods. And then they're also continuing to take these medications, which also have, as you mentioned, have tons of side effects. And you're taking another pill to mask that other side effect. And it's not uncommon to see a patient on 10 or 15
Wow.
different medications, which is, it's scary to think of how many different things those are doing to the body. And it's sad because not everyone knows or how to implement a good diet. And that's what we're working towards. And there's plenty of health professionals out there in the pharmacy world, especially. I know Dr. Mona Vand, I think she was on your show.
Right.
And she is a great inspiration for me. She does a great job educating the public, using her platform to really talk about a whole food plant-based diet. She really preaches the vegan diet. And she puts out really good content for folks. And I think there are more health professionals that are coming out and really focusing on wellness. You yourself, Dr. Axe, Dr. Will Cole, all do phenomenal jobs really spreading the good news about, a great diet and how beneficial it can be for you overall. Absolutely.
No, yeah, and you yourself, like you're using your platform very well to really reach out and make a difference. And I think the more, especially in pharmacy, like you were saying, you had 0 required hours in nutrition. So the more that people like you and Dr. Motivan speak up and make that more mainstream with what you guys are doing, like it's only going to move that in a positive direction. And I actually recorded earlier today with Dr. Scott Stoll, and we just went over what he's doing with the Plantrition Project. Have you heard of that at all?
I have not.
I'll send you the link once we get off. But like, it's really cool because he started making conferences for just different physicians in different field, whether they're medical physicians or pharmacists or any type of wellness position, and just giving them the stepping stones to come in and like learn how to implement it within your practice or just whatever that you're doing with like as a doctor. And it's like really cool because it's really transforming just this huge group of wellness physicians and giving them the resources to really leave that conference and take it back to their hometown and just dive in and start making this huge difference. So it's really cool, and there's a lot of amazing people that are leading this movement, and I think that it's just really cool to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And again, it's, a lot of us do know the information, and a lot of people just don't know how to begin. And that's, I think, the biggest question I get from pharmacists. It's like, how do you, one, have time, and two, where do you get the information for this? And I think it's just since we don't get that information in school, doctors don't get that information. They may have 1 to 2 hours. I know, chiropractic is probably the best school in regards to nutritional education, but in pharmacy, it's like we're taught how to learn because guidelines are changing, drugs are always coming out. So we have to really understand, basic principles and really how to learn. And so I feel like pharmacy taught me well in that regard, that I can go out, read, the literature out there, look at studies, and really try to implement the healthiest things possible, and share that with as many patients as I can.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, taking the effort to really go to like, and learn as much as you can through different certifications and really putting yourself, you have to, if you want to stay on top of it, because unfortunately, I would say 99% of schools, whether it's medical school or chiropractic school or, whatever healthcare field that you're in, that whatever school you're going to is teaching so you can pass a board test. And
Yeah.
that's the majority. And not saying that you don't learn a lot and you don't learn how to interpret a problem that a patient may be having. But if you really want to dive into something on a whole more just deeper level, you have to take those type of classes that like you're doing. What do you think your biggest takeaway has been from just diving into the functional medicine classes?
I think it's, again, just taking the patient as a holistic view, and trying to simplify things down and just take it one step at a time. So I think a lot of times we really want to assess things and then change so many different things. You change their environment, change their attitude, change all of their different, dietary factors, but really just focusing on one small thing. Incremental change is huge. That's really something actually I learned from pharmacy school. I was certified in motivational interviewing, and that's something that's been a huge benefit for me in functional medicine and working with patients, is just really finding those key factors for them and what influences them. And I think that's just really been the biggest thing so far. So, again, I'm still so green in this area, so new to this, but it's something that I'm, continuing to learn about, evolve every single day. And I'm super excited to see just, where this, takes me and allows me to help other folks. But, it's really just allowed me to connect with you and other folks through social media. It's been amazing so far.
That's amazing. And how has it changed, like, how you interact with your patients? Like, whether that's their exam, your own your own exam routine, or like, how has that impacted you directly on how you interact with your patients?
Yeah, I think just overall, just when you look at the patient, look at the exams, look at the labs, it's really just addressing certain factors, because again, we're so deficient in so many areas. So being able to kind of look at different lab values and address those primarily with nutrition, and then trying to work on some supplementation if need be.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Dr. Tyler, I know that you have a website that you're putting out a lot of information on. Do you want to kind of talk about what you're doing with your site? I think you have a blog, right? And I saw that you had some videos up. So you want to just talk about what's the kind of things that you're putting on there, like what kind of information can be found if they go to your site?
Yeah, you can go to my site, drtylerdalton.com. There's some information on there. There's a few blogs. I also blog on medium.com, but primarily it's through my website. And then, there's information on natural remedies, ways to, implement more fruits and vegetables in your diet in simple ways. I've got some cooking videos that I've been working on, trying to cook up. And so really just utilizing video, I think for me is the easiest thing. Writing is not my strongest suit, but I'm definitely trying to work on, blogging as much as I can. But yeah, check out my website. There's some good information on there.
That's cool. What do you like? We'll leave the protein question out, but like, what do you think is some of the most common questions that you do get from people that you think comes up time and time again?
Besides protein, I think it's, what else do you eat? People have no idea. Honestly, they're like, whenever you look at the traditional meal, it's a piece of steak, it's a piece of chicken, and then a small side of broccoli, or maybe a small potato, but there's too many carbs in potatoes, so they don't want to eat that. So really, honestly, it's like, what do you eat?
Yeah.
So, and I give them my spiel. I'll have, a long laundry list of shopping items that I share with folks, or a simple meal plan that I think is just, again, back to the simplicity of things, just keeping it simple, making small changes, and helping folks just understand that it's not that difficult, and it's definitely doable, and anyone can do it. Right.
No, I'm glad you brought up the potato example. I mean, there's it's the funny like memes of somebody having a huge soda, but they don't want to eat their poteto. But there's just definitely good carbs and bad carbs. So don't if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, like, you don't have to worry about a lot of these things. Like, Dr. Tyler was talking about earlier, you don't have to count calories. Like, if you're putting actual foods in your body, like, you do have to eat a little bit more, which is not always a bad thing. People like to eat, so go for it. But just if it's from the right source, then it's something that you really don't have to worry about. Like a potato is there, yeah, there's carbs, but it is an actual food. It's a good carb. So there's differences between that and like a piece of super processed white bread or French fries from McDonald's that's, cooked in like awful oils and so much salt and sugar and just a lot of things that your body's really not made to process naturally.
Yeah, and I think that's so true. And good carbs and bad carbs. And honestly, it's a nutrient-rich food. There was a study or a documentary that came out recently of the guy who ate nothing but potatoes for a year.
Yeah,
and
is it an actual documentary now?
Well, I guess it maybe a YouTube documentary, nothing official, but I'm sure something will come out of it.
Do you know the name of it?
He was on. I can't think of
I'm sure if I Google
Spud
it.
or potato something.
Right.
But yeah, he was on a couple of psych meds, and he was able to even get off that because there's the link between the gut-brain axis and how if your microbiome changes, you can have a dramatic impact on so many different things. That's why brain fog goes away. Their thyroid levels are changing when they start eating better and integrating, probiotics and these probiotic-rich foods in their diet. It's just crazy, really, to focus on nutrient-rich foods versus, I'm not going to drink Coke. I'm going to drink Diet Coke, which has all those artificial sweeteners and flavors and so much bad stuff in there.
Yes, there is. I feel like I don't want anybody to drink soda, but I mean, I would almost rather drink regular soda than diet. I mean, diet is just completely awful. I mean, don't listen to this and quote that I want you to drink soda, but I mean, just don't think diet's like the better option, or the Coke Zeros, or even the Coke with stevia. I mean, you're just drinking chemicals with stevia. Like, it's just not the best option to go. Go grab a kombucha. That'll make me happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But is there any, you have anything going on like coming up in the future that you want to share with people, or just a topic that we didn't dive into that you want to share with people?
No, I feel like we covered a lot of ground today, and there's some things I'll be working on maybe in the next year or so, but nothing really to speak about today. But just it's an honor to be on here with you, and great to talk with you, and looking forward to seeing where our relationship goes over the next few years.
Absolutely. No, I'm excited too. And Dr. Tyler, what is the best way for people to follow you on social media? That way they can keep up with all the great content you're putting out there and just keep up with everything that you're doing.
Sure. Instagram is a great way to connect with me. It's at Tyler Dalton, or on Twitter, I'm really active on there, and it's at Dr. Tyler Dalton on Twitter. Always welcome any questions, comments, anything. I'll be glad to speak with anyone. You can shoot me a message and we can jump on a phone or Skype if you want to as well. So I'm always have my phone, as most people do. So I'm easy to contact and easy to get up with.
Awesome. Cool. And then Dr. Tyler, this closing question that I ask every guest, but if you just had one piece of advice for the audience, maybe it was your own biggest takeaway through your whole wellness journey, but if you just have one piece of advice to give, what would it be?
Drink a green smoothie every single day. It'll change your life.
Love it, and totally agree. But Dr. Tyler, thank you so much for coming on. I loved having you, and just excited to see all the amazing stuff that you do.
All right, thanks, Dr. Casey. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you loved my conversation with Dr. Tyler. He's doing such positive work, and I'm excited for you guys to get to follow him on social media to keep up with everything that he's doing. You can find the social media links that we talked about in the episode in the show notes, but you can also find them on my website as well at drcaseyjohnson.com. That's DRKASEY Johnson.com. Click on the Listen tab. Then from there, you'll be able to see all of the past guests that have come on the Unlock Wellness podcast, read a little bit about each guest, and be able to click on their social media links, websites, all of that. So all of Dr. Tyler's information can be found on my site as well. If you guys loved today's episode with Dr. Tyler, be sure to jump onto iTunes, subscribe, and write a review. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate all of the feedback and support. And like I spoke about in the intro, also be sure to check out my first children's book of my Healthy Children's Book series called Maddox's Trip to the Chiropractor. Each purchase of the book supports the Unlock Wellness Project, which supplies a wellness bag to a child in need for each book purchased. You can learn more about the book and the Unlock Wellness Project on my website as well at drcaseyjohnson.com. Click on the Shop tab, then choose the children's book option. You'll be able to read a short description and even watch a short video to learn more. If you do purchase the book, Be sure to share it on social media using the hashtag UWProject. I'll repost it and give you a shout out on the podcast. But I hope you guys loved the book. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you loved today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.